Hey guys, in this episode, we're gonna answer your questions about cash flow. How you flow your cash determine who you are.
When it comes, we just need to make like one or two right decisions in life, and you're set. Then you're set for life. Like
when you see like a business having a negative cash flow every single month, I think you will feel super stressed.
It's okay to use the money first and catch it up in no time if the opportunity arises immediately.
Plan your cash flow in such a way that
It comes in every month
to pay off the thing.
Sounds like some kind of a very advanced strategy, Benny.
Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Café Money, and of course with me we have Ken, Qiuyu, and still me, Benny. And what is the difference between this episode is that we have a bottle tumbler from Café Money and our t-shirt, right? So do support us by clicking on the link and purchase this limited edition series where we call it Growth Tribe. And guys, just to let you guys know, we didn't manage to print the tumbler in time, so this is just a mock-up stick together version of it, if you guys can see closer, right? But anyhow, if you guys are interested to support us, about this limited edition series as you come across as well, and of course there's some back design, go check out in our website. But anyway, I want to go back to the topic for today, which is cash flow. So previously we talked about this rich dad poor dad episode. You all remember? We talk about the most important of them all is cash flow, and then we kind of like briefly talk about it, and then we come to the end. So a lot of people say, hey, can you all talk about cash flow, right? Which leads to today's topic, cash flow, right? So guys, maybe you can start by going one round to address what is your understanding of cash flow.
Everybody have their own interpretation. So for my interpretation was like business cash flow, like investment, like cash flow for operations, and ROI for machine. So that's my interpretation. And obviously after I came out with like personal stuff like renting, you get money coming into your own pocket.
For me, cash flow refers to checking the footstep of my money. Where is it going to? Like from the moment the money touches my bank account, where does it go to next? And the footstep of my money.
For me, right, I see it as a transaction flow, which is a blueprint of your identity and who you are. Right,
bro, that's deep.
Yeah. So how you flow your cash determine who you are. Where do you flow to? Because these are forensic about your expenses, and the bank actually look at these as a track record of how are they willing to lend you money, how can you get more money, and all this interesting stuff. In business practice or in relative to personal finances, most people mixed P&L, profit and losses, with cash flow, which is a very important thing for you to separate it out. Why so? Because a business could have made $10,000 a month, but may only receive this $10,000 in 4 months to come. Right, that means much later, right? But however, every month he or she is burning operational expenses. So it might be a profitable business, but it might not have cash to flow through.
That's negative cash flow, and that equals to the downfall of the business.
Yes. Sometimes that's what happened to heavy inventory business.
Correct. And especially if you're like say new to business, new to owning a business or running a business, right? When you see like a business having a negative cash flow every single month, I think you will feel super stressed, even though you know that maybe a few months down the road, money is going to come in. So for people who are experienced in looking at business, right, that's the reason why I think sometimes they can acquire certain business or buy over certain business at a certain valuation, because they already see, like, they determine the value of the business based on how much it can scale and how profitable it's going to be in the future, rather than like in the now situation.
How I see this thing, before we talk about business, we could spend some time talking about business, shall we? Yeah, but I see this personally as a way of understanding your finances. So like Ken brought out a famous sentence previously, which is we are investing your dollar cost averaging is more like investing your ongoing saving into certain form of investment that you're interested in, right? So that is cash flow. But so a lot of people look at their pot of cash, they start making decisions not thinking that the replenishment can be very fast. I mean, think about it. If your safety net is 6 months let's say if you really want a 6 month safety net expenses for you, right? You can actually wipe it out to left with 3 months, knowing that in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, you can recover it back to the original sum again, which means like, it's okay to use the money first and catch it up in no time if the opportunity arises immediately, right? Rather than, I need to park this strictly aside on day one and all that. So knowing this does helps you to make more fluid decision, be more calculated in your risk. And for example, taking bridging loan to go through certain periods of time.
I just think that some people are very scared of having little to no money in their bank. So some people, they just want to feel a sense of security.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It is so.
Yeah. For me, I mean, like, cash flow is not really important to me on a personal level, not on a business level. Business level is a different ballgame. But let's say if I need the cash, like, just go to your broker, click withdraw, and in like 3-4 days it comes in your bank. Why do I need to keep 3-4 months worth of cash flow? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I think people plan it as though the apocalypse is coming and nothing is left, so in a worst case scenario whereby, let's say in just Ken's case, say Tesla stock dropped by 50%, right? And if you really still need money, the other 50% is still portionally liquidable. I mean, like, you can still, it's, of course you're at a loss, don't get me wrong, guys, that's not the best time to take out money, but it is still liquidable.
Yeah, and I would say that like when I learn more about this idea of cash flow, it really opens up my mind to a lot of things. So for example, right, if you don't understand like cash flow, you will actually end up being in the category of people who probably hoard money. You hoard the cash, like what Ken is saying. They keep the money, keep the cash because they are so worried about money being lost. But you forget that the fact that the money flows, it actually can come back to you if you know what you are buying and you purchase the right thing, such that after buying it, money can still come back to you. Right, so I think knowing how to manage your cash flow is so important because it will literally change your life because what you experience. So for example, if you buy a car first, you end up having your expenses on the car and that's it, full stop. But if you were to put the money into an investment that gives you maybe additional 200-300 a little bit of cash flow in, right? You use that cash flow, go and buy the car. It makes a lot of difference because right now you have investment that's growing in value and you also can enjoy your life by driving a car somehow, right?
Can I maybe add on to your point, but correct me if I'm wrong. The most optimum cash flow management, I'm talking about optimum level, is you can keep your bank balance at zero, but somehow plan your cash flow in such a way that
it comes in every month
to pay off the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about like how the banks see, because sometimes if you want to apply for loans overseas, buying property or something overseas, right, they look at your bank loan, they will do check, especially for UK, they are quite sticky. They check your bank transaction at least for the past 6 months, and they will question how come like your bank is always having a balance of zero and why is the money coming in, where is it going out. So they are quite sticky about this money laundering issue. Yeah.
But what if your bank every month comes in $1 million and out $1 million? I'm just talking about extremes here. They'll be okay.
They will ask
take my
you,
money.
Yeah.
They'll take my money. But if you have a bank balance that every month come in $1,000, out $1,000. Then
probably it's a different story if it's in $1 million, out $1 million. But they may ask you more questions because it's such a huge sum of money in and out.
I'll be more precise here. If you're gonna be out $1 million, you want to be out $1 million after the first few days of the month, because you'll be registered as you having that $1 million at the end of the month. So it plays a huge difference. So let's be very precise here. So there's a way to show that you have cash in the bank, because how they look at opening statement and closing statement is the art of you having money or not having money.
Wow, the king of managing cash flow.
So right, sometimes the bank wants to see how much money your bank account has, and if let's say the money is transferred in, you take a screenshot and you send them the whatever balance it is, right, and then you transfer the money out. They technically don't know that the money is not there.
I say that is 100% not advisable, and we are not saying, but I'm just saying.
But my friend just did it. He do that to just take his loan.
Yeah, he just show.
Show cash. Show cash.
I mean, in a casual way, it's called show cash. But essentially, it's called asset under management.
AUM.
Show cash. Lend you money, show cash. You see, so it's just a It's just a move of cash flow. But guys, like I said, we're not advising you to do that, but people does that because they understand and know the criteria of the bank to do such things. But a very simple example of this is that if you were to pay your credit card on time in Singapore, then you were to use a gyro system, which means it's automatically deducted when you bill, right? You cannot get your maximum loan because your monthly expenses is registered as such of your credit card. So example would be this: if you are spending 3,000 a month and you're paying off your 3,000 a month timely, it factor in as you having $3,000 expenses a month, even though you clear it, right? Which is normal, right? Like,
Yeah.
Guys, what's the problem? No. But here's the thing: if you're gonna pay off one day before you're being billed, you pay off. So when the bill comes, you have zero expenses.
Ooh.
So the 3,000
Yep.
doesn't even appear under your expenses at all because it's zero expenses credit card because you always clear it off before you're being invoiced.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this way, right, you could have taken a lot more loan because now when they look at your profile, say, hey, you have no liability. You don't even have a credit card debt. Your credit card debt is consistently zero. And there's a difference of just paying one day difference.
1 day difference, meaning when you get your statement, you straight away pay, or you pay on
before the statement.
You pay before
one
the
day
statement
before the
comes.
statement came.
Because when the statement comes, it will be recorded that you have this liability,
Yeah.
so-called, right?
Oh.
So you pay before this statement comes, and because it's already paid, it's
But
kind
how
of...
much you know you spend? Like,
I mean, you can see how much you have clocked in the expenses in your credit card app, but it's not been billed yet. There's a day when you're finally you're formalized being doing
I learned something. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
pay before your statement date.
at least one day. Yeah, yeah.
One
yeah.
day, and
That will
I see.
increase your
loan.
I'm not too sure even should I share all this. Oh my god.
Share
But
lah.
anyway,
Let's just share what happened.
but this will increase your loan eligibility by quite a fair bit, right? And of course, there are deeper stuff that we don't want to talk about here openly, but there are more tips to share over here. I mean, another way would be, a very simple one would be, you could have easily used your cash or your nets in Singapore, like your debit card to pay for certain products, right? But if you pay through a credit card and you pay on time, you're clocking points, and in turn your points could exchange for vouchers or miles or whatnot, right? Or cashback, right? So it's the same thing. It's management of cash flow. If you pay through direct in debit, you have no absolute value of that
Yes.
amount clocked.
Yep.
But if you pay through a credit card, but which pay through a point system so imagine this.
Yeah.
You have $50. You put into a Starbucks card. So you clock a $50 expenses for credit card points. And your Starbucks card now, you are paying through your coffee, right? And you clock stars, which exchange for coffee in future. And now that when you pay for the Starbucks coffee, right, you have multiple points being clocked with the same transaction.
Yeah.
It's the same $5 coffee,
Yeah.
but you have now clocked points here and there. But of course, the best thing is don't buy expensive coffee. I mean, that's the main point. But if you are going to spend, you could go through multiple channels to clock multiple points for multiple.
So
effects.
basically, is right. How much value can your every $1 give you back? Does it really
100%.
just give you $1 in value for whatever you pay for, or can it give you more than that $1 value that you're paying for? For example, like clocking points, so that with that points you can actually exchange for even more stuff, right? And more stuff, and so on and so forth. So I think it's about the footprint of your every dollar. Where are you going to put the money, and how are you going
How
to
it
let this money flow through what avenue? So yeah, I think there are some people who are very adamant about not having credit card, and I think that's a little bit risky because if you don't have a credit card, the bank cannot track your expenses, your financial habits, and they are going to give you a very bad credit rating.
Interestingly, if
Yeah.
you don't have a credit card, you have a worse off credit rating than someone who have a credit card but don't have expenses.
Yep. So
Because at least there's a track record of you paying on time and stuff, like versus you are an unknown profile. Yeah. So being a minimalist, I think is important. But if you have a need to take a debt for property, right? You want to just apply a credit card for the sake of cleaning up your credit rating and stuff. Yeah.
I see.
That's something that a lot of especially a lot of millennials are minimalists, they might miss out because they don't know the importance of taking debt. Yeah.
Just putting out there and not saying anything, but yes, I think those that are growing their money, this is important. At my stage, maybe in the next episode, let's talk about that. Like about this issue that I probably do not have.
No,
that
no,
I don't need to do all these small optimization tips anymore. I mean, but it's good when you are growing your money. But when you are at a certain level,
his AUM is so strong. You don't even need anything else anymore, right? That's another level, right?
Yeah. I used to do it quite a lot, but not at your optimization level. And if I had to learn your optimization level, that would have changed the game for me quite significantly also. I would probably have done a better net portfolio.
You probably can travel for free.
Oh, that'd be good.
You know how to speak the sentence that align with Ken. Traveling and Ken is like an absolute thing. You're so cheeky. So I mean, when it comes to business, we all know the power of cash flow in business.
Sorry, but let's go back to the topic about the audience itself. So how do they create cash flow for themselves? I mean, I'm just putting it out there. What would they do? Any tips?
Wow, you put me on a hard one, right? But in Singapore, it's really easy to create a private limited. It's $318.50 away if you do it by yourself, or X amount of dollars more, someone to help you, right? But basically, having a private limited means that it's a living entity, on its own, right? And you can create any small businesses that you want. And I mean, you don't need to apply for office and stuff like that. You pay a little bit money on all this setting up, right? But essentially, imagine this. If you and your friends decided to always buy things through this company, right? So you're just funneling money to this company and paying this company, just using it to pay off whatever you're buying. So it's like a procurement company, a trading company. And what if you are always buying expensive stuff, like watches, bags and all that? You buy through this company. Long enough, this company will clock enough revenue and years to be your operational company. And if I even do some funny small businesses selling product at cost price, because you're not after the profit, right? But it would have been an operational company, right? And with that being said, you will now open up to another floodgate of accessibility of credit, because now you have a company, right?
Hey guys, operate. Just put it in context. Operational company banks love it. If you take max leverage, because obviously you must understand that when you take this money, you must know how to make it back. So you take this max leverage and buy the property, you can actually zero down payment, zero money down on a property.
Which a lot of people wouldn't believe me, but I've done it. Many people have done it. So you can easily use $0 down.
I've done it.
Yeah. You have a company, right? Yet majority of people who are not woke, even licensed agent, right, would tell people it's not possibly done, right? But we have all done it as practitioner ourselves.
Personally, I bought the property for almost free.
Yeah.
$1 million property in Singapore for almost free.
There's the power of having a company and an operational company. And able to park your loan aside.
Let's go even more basic. So that is for those people who have a certain capability to start.
And understands how to do statements for company and how to set up, let's say, operating company and how you can do the filing and etc. To get the benefit out of it.
Well, I mean, if you don't understand if you don't understand and you want to do something about it, it could be part of your learning journey. Maybe this year you want to learn something. This could be part of it, and I think that helps a lot. Those even in the government sector or working stable income, I think it's really good for you to learn also, because people with a stable income, they also can own their own company on the outside to purchase.
Contrary to popular belief, you could own a private limited. Just don't be a director, right? You can own it, right? And let me tell you something crazy. It's so crazy, right? And a lot of people wouldn't have this opportunity because you are not ready, and that's the problem when you're not deep into the cash flow and the financial system, right? A little bit off cash flow, but it's still important since we're in company and cash. During COVID, when the whole market crashed, banks were throwing out 1% business loan up to $70 to $100 over $1,000 to company to grab when they are not even operationally for 2 years. They are just brand new company. And there's so many people, which I don't mention, who have taken all this money and they just take it out, they just whack to stock market when it was all-time low, flip it a couple of times, return it back, end of story. Wealth
Make money with no money.
Immediately, right? And this is the problem, because people are so fixated with their pocket and not thinking about the system, the cash flow, and managing all this, right? And they lose out on
as easy as said and done, because it's happened in the past. But you must understand that these people who did it, they had so many years before preparation. They kind of in the game and all this. So in the next 10 years, would something, would another opportunity come by? Definitely, but you just have to have the preparation.
Yeah.
The knowledge to be prepared when the time the opportunity comes, right?
So there's always like, even now markets are a little bit sideways, we still have conversations about money, because when it comes, we just need to make like 1 or 2 right decisions in life, and you're
That's
set.
all.
And you're set for life. You know, like
Actually, it's so
done.
scary, Ken. Like, what you're saying is so true. It just takes 1 or 2
Right.
right decision,
big
right?
decision,
Your whole
yeah.
trajectory of wealth can just
Let's change.
spin off
Yeah,
totally
I mean,
differently.
now it sounds like you're not winning. Like, I mean, most markets are sideways. But I tell you, this is a time where it makes hell a lot of difference. It's
Yeah.
not when the market dips. Yeah.
Okay, so what about simpler stuff that people can start doing? So let's say people who are who doesn't know about company, doesn't have this
Yeah.
knowledge yet. I think it's good that you kind of know right now and then you explore more. But what about people who doesn't have this knowledge at this point in time? What can you do about your cash flow to optimize or to earn more or to win more?
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a lot of people hating this comment.
I love it. Come on.
But because there's a lot of like non-action taker defender will jump out for no reason, right? But the truth
Say
is,
it.
you could easily use credit card loans, to tie through a lot of interesting process. Let me give you an example. Banks are now giving credit card, right, at a 6-month period at about like loan to you, right, at your credit limit, say 20,000, 30,000, depending on credit limit, right, at an interest rate of like 1%. And you only need to pay the full sum 6 months later, which is not even interest only. It's like almost like flat fee, right, and paying back 6 months later. And if you know how to manage your finances properly and getting that excess of funds ready, the moment the market crash, call a banker, activate the funds, throw into the stocks you believe in, done. Right. And what if so I'm going to share a more advanced strategy. What if the 6 months later the market don't recover? Doesn't matter. You have your savings, you plan it properly, you could now slowly pay back, but you already lock into the shares price earlier. Number 2, you could just take another credit card and to pay back this. Wait. So that's part where a lot of haters will come in. But you're also paying just at an interest rate of just 1 to 2%. So which means every 6 months you're only paying 1%. And you're just rotating bank. And you're not rolling to a bigger amount. Don't get me wrong. This is not the credit card debt 20+%, right? But you're just doing this and you have an infinite holding period at only 1% cost of funds. If you know how to manage your cash.
Guys, do note the percentage, not the usual credit card debt.
It's not the usual credit card.
It's a different ballgame.
It's a different game, right? Because they're opening up for you to take ready cash, right? And you can just do that. And your holding period is 1%. Tell me you cannot hold for 2% in the entire year, and the stocks won't grow by 2%. I mean, you get my point here. So if you know how to do that, you have access to free money to grow in stocks, right? Return it back, right? You just make money.
This sounds like some kind of a very advanced strategy, Benny.
I don't think it's advanced. If
It's
you
so
know the
advanced.
stocks, if you calculate the math with the banker carefully when you need to return, and you look at your own savings, like you can save in the next 6 months to pay back anyway, and you can easily roll like this. But I know a lot of haters are going to come because they don't understand how this is done. It's done by the rich every other day, because it's only 1% of cost of funds, right? It's so commonly done by a lot of people. What about, no, we are not talking about the 20% credit card debts, and rolling it to the next credit card. No, guys, I want to make a disclaimer. But this is a move that if you take the next 1 month, sit down and study disciplinely, right, you could get this excess of funds.
I only see one roadblock that most people have. They do not know where to find that 1%. Because probably people build good credit with the banks. They will just call you. You cannot just go to the website of the bank and apply. No, it doesn't come.
Oh, yes. Usually this type is the bank will give you a call and ask you whether you want to take out a certain amount of credit loan or things like
But
that.
I assure you, I have other source of funds from the bank. But this is just a credit card, really cash advance.
But I don't think the stats are like what you say 1%. You can go to the bank and
No, it's
apply.
1% now. It's 1.5.
But does it affect your credit rating?
No, it doesn't affect credit rating. It affects your loan capability because you take out the money, but it doesn't affect credit rating because you can return it. It doesn't affect, guys. Borrowing money doesn't affect credit rating because you haven't default. When you default payment, it affects credit rating. So I can take $10 million debt from a bank. I have the same credit rating. If I default $20 of credit card expenses, I have a bad credit rating. So that's something that guys need to take note, right?
I also have one more point about, just to go to the most basic cash
Yeah.
flow, since we are just talking about cash flow. I think one of the very looked under areas for a lot of people because they do not understand what's happening. Crypto, man. Crypto, in my opinion, has the best cash flow in the entire.
Oh, share. Why? Interesting.
You're getting like in like when you buy a stock. So what happens? The real transaction happens. There's the actual buyer and seller, and in between there's this pool of.
Yes.
Yeah. So in crypto, there's this thing called liquidity pool, and your yield on it is crazy high. Depends on what crypto you put inside.
Is it staking?
No, staking is staking.
Okay.
This is liquidity mining.
I see.
Yeah,
Liquidity mining.
yeah. So,
I see.
So there is still staking is a proof of stake where you get So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways to earn money in crypto now. And last time, this is how like brokers in between earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, they make the difference within the pool
Yes,
itself.
yes.
But now in crypto, because of the whole DeFi world, the
Decentralized.
world, you could do it yourself.
Everyone
there.
have a chance to be part of this
Yeah.
big system of making money through arbitrage and
Yeah,
transaction.
and I think it's pretty good cash flow. At least in my opinion, it's 50-60% a year. I think it's
That's
good.
very good. That's very good. So
That's
you see,
crazy,
right?
like
I think
50%.
like if you are just investing in crypto anyways, you might as well do this because you're holding on to the crypto, whatever you're invested in, and then you might as well put that money, do a one step further, right? To just put this onto liquidity mining, right? So
Yeah.
just a one step, and then you will actually make your crypto earn more money for you.
Making money for
And-
you.
Yeah, and I want to share even simpler thing that people can even start doing. Very, very simple. I think this is so simple that, you know, if you are, just so simple as to where your salary goes into which bank account. Because, right, I think different bank as of now, they have different interest rate and different returns to people who open a bank account, a savings account with that. And then if you, let's say, have a regular salary going into that bank account, right, different banks have their different package. So just do some research,
Can be quite
right?
high.
Simple
Actually, the
research
salary
as to,
account can be quite- yeah.
just do a very simple research. Which bank gives the best return? Sometimes it can be OCBC, sometimes it can be DBS or whatever bank. And then just make that your basic
Principal
salary
account, yeah.
principal account, right? So I think that's the simplest way you
That's
can
a good tip, though.
even get started on, you know.
Since the cash is going
Yeah,
there
since the
anyway.
salary is already coming, right? So where does your money flow? Flow to this bank account,
They make some
earn the
money from it,
interest,
yeah.
and then
Cool.
simple.
There's one thing I want to share, guys, that it's not about making money, but it's how cash flow, right, often corrupt, right, and hurt people very badly. So share my experience with you guys, and it's so scary. Do you know, like when we buy a car in Singapore, say like a $90,000 car, Sing dollars, guys, so it's like a US like 70,000, sorry. When you buy that car, right, you know, plus your loan on the car, it's like 70% loan, you probably pay about like 1,000, 2,001 Sing dollars on the 900 or something like that, you know, along that price for your interest. I mean, interest plus principal, right, when you're paying off that car, which is very typical, right? And you'll be shocked, right, that if I tell you today, would you be shocked to hear that people are paying $2,500 for a car every month on a $70,000 car?
Why?
Because of literacy in their financial knowledge, right? They are being sold with a cash flow plan. So they say, you know what? Since you're driving like a Uber, you know, but in Singapore we call it Grab, right? You know, just rent a car for like $60 or $80 a day, you know, and you don't need to care about everything, you know, and whatever it makes you just hold. You can pay by daily or you can pay by weekly, right? But they inevitably pay up to $2,000 to even $3,000 on a car, and coming up with some fake scheme by saying, oh yeah, you just pay for this amount, 6-7 years later you can drive the car for 3 years for free because you've been paying this for 6 years, right? So the balance 4 years is for free. They go, wow, that's such a good deal, right? But guys, oh my god, if you add up the total amount of money they paid within the 7 years, they could have easily paid double the car price just for illusion to drive it for free for 4 years, and they just got fooled by cash flow plan. That's how crazy is it. If you don't understand cash flow, it can work totally against you because you're not good at finances and you only care about cash flow, like how much are you making ends meet every month, right? And you could be a victim as such very quickly.
I think in the States, there's also a lot of these problems where there's like you can just take the car off and you just drive it.
No money down for the car.
Yeah. I think it's very important. I mean, just for most of you, it's just very easy. Do very simple maths. When they present you a number, a month that you need to pay, just multiply the number by the number of years equals to the total money you come out with. And you compare that with the actual price of the car, and it becomes a pretty no-brainer.
Yeah, but you know,
to check
how,
whether the value is like a lot ballooned or not, right? So then you can check whether are they. I mean, it's very normal that if you multiply the number by the number of the amount that you pay every month by the number of years, it's going to be more than the absolute amount because you are paying the interest. You are taking a loan on the car, which is okay.
Yeah.
But if the figure is like so much more ballooned compared to what you're paying for the car, you got to be very careful about such schemes.
Yeah. Just worried nobody can hear her. Yeah. So guys, but it's so easy for us to say this, because we understand math in our numbers and finances, right? But it's so luring for someone who don't understand this and being sold to a pitch like $0 down, drive the car away. You know what I mean? Like just grab something, right? And then like, you only pay $60 a day. Yeah, you pay more, but doesn't matter. You can pay daily, you can pay weekly. Don't worry. You can pay as you go along.
But on these people's defense, because maybe they don't want to pay the lump sum of down payment
of course
right
they
at the
don't
start.
want to pay. So my point is, why not have the discipline to save that amount first? Because the burn is so crazy. What you're paying for additionally every month, within the next 6 months, you can add up to be a down payment anyway.
What if they are using the car for business because they are private hire?
Yeah, then find a way to get out from a scheme. So you might start from that scheme now, then save up to get out from that scheme, because that scheme is going to kill you. I mean, everybody starts from somewhere, don't get me wrong, right? But if you stay in a scheme, it's your fault, right? I mean, if you start with the scheme, it's no wrong because you want to start with the lowest cash option possible, right? But you got to get out from the scheme. And we're not even talking about just these people who are driving private hires. There are other people who are doing such things as well. Very dangerous. Yeah.
I think to summarize this episode, the conversation we are having is basically about looking at the bigger picture. The most big people, they tend to focus on the smallest things like, why do I pay 50 cents more for this pancake? But you're the kind of person that bought a car with zero down payment. So instead, just take an overall big picture down look and look at your overall finances. Like on the big ticket items, you make sure you get it right. And you don't need to worry about the 50-cent pancake.
And I think you can start tracking the flow of your money, the footstep of your money right from the beginning when your money comes into your bank account through salaries or any other earnings.
Like what Qiuyu have said, start from the very bare bone of adding the flow, like adding it to a right bank account, adding it to a credit card point, and just maximizing that dollars to as many things as possible. But the next step is to study a few particular schemes and strategies. For example, getting access to funds, calculating your cost of funds, creating companies, to get more access. And these are moves that ultimately leads to really big things that we shared earlier that people think that it's impossible, that it can be done if you take the time and effort to study.
For example, buying property with no money down.
Yeah, it can be done. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little bit heavy, but we want to give you a little bit more advanced conversation about cash flow, yeah? And subscribe, comment about what is your biggest takeaway for this episode, and support us. See you guys. Bye-bye.